Hi, Elyas. So today, uh, I'm gonna be asking you a few questions about pyramids. So, how's your day going?
Yeah, pretty good. It's 7 a.m., so I just woke up. But other than that, in terms of my practice for cubing, it's going pretty well. Have worlds in 2 weeks, obviously,
Mm,
but
yeah,
it's a bit scary. But other than that, it's going pretty well. A bit
yeah,
tired though, so yeah.
mm, yeah. And so first I'll ask you a few questions about pyramids. And so, what do you average on pyro?
Okay, pyramids. I'll go with my current global now. I think I'm around 1.6, 1.7, like global. I think my peak was maybe 1.5, but I think now I'm slowly getting like a bit slower, but like at the same time I'm learning how to compete more. Like
Mm-hmm.
recently at my last comp I actually got my best like or most consistent performance ever of 3 rounds, which was 1.79 mean of 3 rounds, which was like probably the best I've ever done on like average. But as for my PR, well, it's like 1.48. That's I guess it's pretty good for me. If you're talking in terms of like how good it is for me at home, I'd say it's a pretty normal average for me. Like I get 1.4 averages maybe every few solves or something. But I guess right now I average like around 1.6, 1.7, which I guess to put into perspective, like if you gave me a set of scrambles right now, I think I get around 1.6, 1.7 on them. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, like, to reach this level, what was your biggest obstacle, and like, how do you overcome it? Like, what did you do to improve?
Oh, that's a very tough question. Um, I think so. Before, I think it was 2022. Yeah, I broke my PR average of two with a 2.37 average. That was like top 40 in the world. And I
Mm-hmm.
remember like straight after that average, I was like, oh shoot, I'm top 40 in the world. That's like kind of crazy. And I was like really happy with it. And at the time, OCR was 2.13 by Riley Dexter. So then that was like my big goal, just chasing after that. But at the same time, there were other people going after it, like Jasper Murray, as you
Mm,
probably
yeah,
know.
yeah.
And yeah, I actually worked hard with Jasper to improve my prayer skills. Like he's like
Mm,
I think the main reason why I'm as good as I am today. Anyways,
mm,
the biggest obstacle was definitely my 2.37 PR average, which I believe is like to this day is was my biggest mental barrier besides my 1.532 by 2 average, which is still my PR since 2 years ago. So
mm-hmm.
I say it's my biggest like mental barrier because like there was a period of time where I was averaging literally like around the oceanic record, so like 2.1, but it was just in comp every single round I'd be plus twoing, DNFing,
Nerves.
yeah, locking up. And I think the biggest thing that made that happen was I could say it's my nerves, but why did I have the nerves? It
Mm-hmm.
could be the pressure of knowing I have to do well, or just like the pressure for myself, like oh bro, like this is like your only chance.
Yeah, I
I
will
think the
in my interview with Dylan, so I was talking about that, and he said that what he tends to do to like reduce pressure on him is rather than setting per comp goals or like kind of setting a deadline for his goals, what he does is just jots down like kind of has goals, but there's no deadline. So it's like I
mm,
want to get do this, but not like by then,
mm,
like that. Hmm.
yeah, that's a very good way of thinking about it, and that's actually what I was about to say. So,
Hmm.
yeah, my goals during that period of time, it was like took me almost a whole year to beat my PR, which was a bit funny because I knew I could beat it because like when I got the 237, it was pretty good for me. Within a few months later, I'd starting to average like low two, so I was like, oh okay, there's no way I don't beat this, right? Like I really
Hmm.
wanted an NR as well, or like an
Hmm.
OCR or whatever. And then the things came. I failed OCR like maybe, I think 4 times, single and average. I plus two'd a 1.1 single. I had like BPAs of OCR a few times as well. Um, but then it came to the end of the year, which was at nationals, where I broke through that. I still didn't like get an average I was really happy with. Like it was 2.11, which was like around my, I'd say a bit above average
Mm-hmm.
at the time, which is in December.
Yeah.
That was also a plus two out of sub two. So I think I just have like I have a bit of a
Mental
addiction
barrier.
to plus twos, you know. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's hard.
mm, yeah.
Okay.
How did I
And
overcome it? Um, yeah, I decided to just put that aside. You know, take queuing comps as more of like a time to socialize rather
okay.
than focusing too much on the results. Like you could focus on results, but in the end, it's like at the end of the day, it's like, did you have fun at the comp?
Yeah.
Did you enjoy meeting new people? Because like at one point, competing was literally just all about results for me, and I think
Mm-hmm.
that really didn't go well because I didn't enjoy the comps as much as I did or as much as I could have.
Yeah, I
So
noticed that in my last one because like generally I would walk around, trade cubes or something, but the last one I was just practicing and then I did pretty bad. I was averaging 12 at home for 3 by 3 sub 12, and I got an average like I didn't even get a 12-second single. It was really
uh,
bad.
unlucky.
Yeah. Okay.
I can relate with that.
Yeah. And so what advice would you give to anybody trying to get to your level?
Oh, okay. I'd say if you were generally going for a top world result, it could be in
Mm-hmm.
any event. Again, I think it's managing expectations really matters. It's like right now, like your global could be like I said, it was low two at the time when I wanted my that OCR, which was low two as well. Like in reality, what your global is what you're most likely not gonna get in competition. Like some people really strive under pressure, you know, but I think with just competing as a whole, you should set reasonable expectations. Like there was a time, I think it was, I think it was right before nationals. I started averaging sub two, and so this was in 2022. I was averaging sub two, so I was like, oh okay. I know my PR is still really bad for me. So what if I just get a PR? Like just focus on getting a solid PR, and then once I break through that barrier, I can work further. You know, and don't like set unrealistic expectations like oh I have to get like my first OCR, first NR, first WR in this round. You could be like, oh, I'm at that level, but like, was it Dylan you interviewed?
Yeah, yeah. Dolan Miller.
Dylan, oh Dylan Miller. Okay, yeah, just like Dylan said, like make that a long term goal. I
Mm-hmm.
really think that's a good thing to do because like one of
Mm.
my long term goals was and still is to get a Pyramix record. I don't know if you knew that, but I
Mm.
am the fastest in the world without a single Pyramix record right now. So I'm still hunting after
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I think
Trying.
I can
Yeah.
get that in the future, but
Mm.
sorry, what?
Mm. I'm also trying to get top 100 for skew and R.
Mm,
Not
nice.
so I kind of average around that at home, but it's hard. So like cause I barely average that much. So I average like 4.8, and anything under 5 seconds is the top 100. And so that's kind of hard, just like averaging right there.
Mm, yeah,
Mm.
I agree. Anyways, so what
Uh,
advice as a whole? I'd say just managing expectations, and I'll just go a bit into pyramids like specifically right now. Uh, I think for pyra, it's like really analyzing your solves, like and knowing what you're doing wrong and what you're doing really well, because I think for me, what I really did when I wanted to improve, I hit like a barrier, and I was like, oh, what do I improve? Like I'm already one looking my solves. I know the algs I need. And then what I did was I actually filmed some solves and
mm-hmm.
I kind of like analyzed them like, okay, what did I do right in the solve and what did I do wrong? So I kind of like
Mm.
wrote that down. I'm like, okay, what can I do to improve that now? So
And
it
you
could
can
be
kind
like,
of compare it like to the people who are at the level you're trying to reach. You can compare yourselves to them with them, and so see
yeah,
how. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
Mm.
I think a good example is Jasper and Sebastian Lee. If you compare myself to them, I think I'm like kind of like in the middle of them. Like Jasper's solutions are absolutely insane. Like I don't know what he like how he finds them, and Sebastian's turning is absolutely ridiculous. So I think if I were to like analyze myself and compare it to them, I would say that like there are definitely things I need to work on. Like I could learn more algs, could focus on like turning for a specific case that I'm not very good at, you know. But I think overall, if someone was trying to get around like a world class level, I think just know that it takes a lot of time. But at the
Hmm.
same time, know your weaknesses, know your strengths, and then from there you
Yeah.
can master
Mm.
everything that you need. And also, of
Mm.
course, watch example solves. That's
Yeah.
the most important thing.
Hmm.
And yeah,
Yeah.
lots of
And
things.
so the elk part. So I have the question. So it's like as we kind of go through and people have new like elk sets. Like now we have a lot of people using ZBLL, and then for like you have first we started off with like basic L4E, then you have like TCLL, MCLL, and no, I'm sorry, ML4E, TL4E. Yeah, so like how do you think such like ALK sets affect how people do? Because like back then it was a lot more about just like other things, and now it's also a lot more like ALK focused.
Mm.
Mm.
Oh, this is a tough question because I myself don't learn many algs anymore, purely because
Yeah.
I'm getting a bit older. School's getting kind of hard, but
Yeah.
I think as for cubing as a whole, well for 3x3 we've seen it with Shwani and Timon, absolutely ridiculous. It's like getting to the point where we thought Yiheng was like unstoppable, but like these guys are getting really close, which is like really cool to see.
Mm-hmm.
As for Pyraminx and like the shorter events, it's definitely the future. I'd say it's like without those algs, humans aren't gonna get faster.
Yeah,
Well,
and
they're
it's kind of like one looking, and so when we like one look, you can kind of one look more solutions if you have more alt sets to work with and more kind of like layers. If you have a twisted edge in your layer and you can work with that, that would be easier for you to one look, and so probably like people get better and better solutions, and then you get better and better like times. Yeah.
yeah. A good example of that is like for me, I don't know full ML free,
Mm.
or I don't know TL free. I don't think TL free is really necessary, but it can work in some cases. The same as with ML free. Like I don't use it unless I feel it's a lot better for in terms of move count or execution, because
Mm-hmm.
it could be like say a really short solution, say like an 8 move solution with ML free, but it's a 9
Mm-hmm.
move solution with L free, but the ML free solution is like uses like B moves and L moves and all that.
Mm-hmm. So
I
execution is harder.
probably yeah. I think
Mm.
it's a trade off between move count and TPS. But as for ML free, I think it's really useful and like other outfits as well, like with 2x2 with LS and all that. I think these AUGs really will really help us in terms of canceling moves, dropping out times, and just having more insight to the scramble as a whole. But I think it's really different for these sprint events and big cubes. Like big
Mm-hmm.
cubes should really help as well, but again, I'm not a big cube solver, so I can't really tell you that. But as
Yeah.
for pyramids, I think these. I mean, we see like I'll give a quick example. Lincoln Jiang, he
Mm-hmm.
literally knows like just Alpha, I assume, or at least from his ASRs in the past. He's literally just used Alpha. It's kind of insane. But that's like an
Yeah.
example of like what Yiheng for 3x3. Like he knows like good algs, but if you compare him to Shwani, it's like
Mm-hmm.
Shwani's on a different level. So I think
Mm-hmm.
in terms of improvement for cubing, I think it's definitely to do with algs. I don't think because there's like a human limit definitely when it comes to turning. Like you could be turning at Yiheng speed like 15 TPS, but how much further can we go? Like 16 and then it's done. Like it's literally cubes are gonna explode when you turn at 17 TPS. Like we
Yeah.
won't be able to handle it. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's
And
basically it.
so basic, like kind of into that. So how do you like, what do you think about smart cubes? Like as for more like different types of cubes. Like right now we have 3x3 smart cubes, and then we have Moyu's 2x2 smart cube, and then Gan's working on a smart cube for 2x2. But what do you think? Like, do you think smart cubes can be the future?
Mm. I've actually tried to get a smart cube from someone. You
2x2?
probably know who it is, but
Yuki Gao.
yeah, Yuki
Yeah,
Gao.
yeah.
Yeah. Um, I think like it's great to have the smart cubes. But I think there's just one flaw, which is like the times. Like like with like the 2x2
Oh,
smart
the
cubes, with people getting
hands.
like,
Yeah.
yeah. I think the times are pretty unrealistic when it comes to like the solve time. Other than that, I really like them. Like the move count is great. The TPS is great. The analysis at the end with all like the turns and all the possible solutions and all that.
Mm,
That is really really good. And I think if we were gonna like start thinking like how a computer would think, like that is literally the way to go. Like
mm-hmm,
how does a computer think in terms of solving this layer? Like how do they
mm-hmm.
see it? But I think
Yeah.
like it will definitely give us more insight into what the future is for our solutions and our turning and what's most optimal for the computer and what's most optimal for us. But
And
I think
also, yeah.
yep.
So also like about optimalism, like there's not a lot of like cube theory. I mean, for 3x3, we still have people really looking into it, especially due to FMC. But like, I don't think we have a lot of cube theory for Pyra, Skew, and like other events, Square One, and we can. I think like that could also benefit us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh yeah, I agree. I think
Mm.
it's mainly 3x3, like you said, that has a lot of insight and theory behind it. But I think honestly, like at this day and age, I think people can go based off just algs and just learning off
Mm.
videos. But
Mm.
yeah, I agree with what you said.
Mm. Okay. So that's it, because I know you have to go to your school. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thanks for
Yeah.
having me.
Thank you. Yeah.
Everyone
It was
subscribe.
fun. Yeah.
Alright,
Thanks.
thanks.
Bye.
Alright, see ya. Thank you.
Yeah. Bye.